Debbie Quarrel, and I have dual citizenship. I am an American citizen and also have British citizenship as well.
My name is Victor Sauceda, and I am from Chihuahua, Mexico.
My name is Mauro Blessed Matai, and I'm original from Mozambique, Southeast Africa.
My name is Sulema Medina, well, in Mexico. My complete name is Sulema Glain Medina Sanchez, because you have to have your last name from your father and mother by law. I was born in Mexico, in Torreon, Coahuila, and I'm 22 years old.
You know, most of the legal stuff since I was younger, you know, my parents took care of that. But I know for me, moving over, it was a little different. They were born here in Stephenville. They went to college here. And then my dad got a job in the oil field. And so that's what took them over to Scotland. He worked in the North Sea on the oil rigs, and they lived there for about 18 years.
Very cool. And then they had
and
you
I was
over.
born there.
Very
They
cool.
actually moved over there with my sister, who's older, when she was about 2 months. So she pretty much grew up there too. But I'm the only one that has citizenship since I was actually born there.
So because you were born in Scotland, that gave you the British citizenship, but because your parents were U.S.
American.
citizens, so then you got yours
Yes.
automatically. That's very cool.
Well, it's a long process for me, and it did take a little while because I came originally to the United States to pursue an education. Thanks to being able to play baseball, I received a scholarship to come to college. And so my first experience with immigration was that the school where I was going to, they requested a permission from the U.S. Department of Immigration and what we call a student visa. And so once immigration approves that, then I'm able to come to the United States and study here. The fact that I was playing under a baseball scholarship helped speed up the process of immigration issuing that permit for me to come and become a student here. The next time that I had to do any type of paperwork or go through the process was when I transferred to Tarleton State from a junior college. And so Tarleton State, in this case, they had to reissue that request so I could become a student here. Once I graduated, I applied for my master's degree, to get my master's degree. And so the college does what they call a extended training permit that is added to your student visa. Once I got that, I was able to be able to seek employment while getting my master's, and at the same time, the place or the company or wherever I needed to be seeking employment, they would pursue what is called a sponsorship. And in this case, Granbury ISD gave me a job as a teacher, and then they also allowed me to work in the United States through that permit that I got. At that same time as I was employed, that's when I met my wife, and we got engaged. We decided to get married, and so in that case, then my wife becomes my sponsor because my wife is a United States citizen. And so while we are married, I am here legally as a resident through marriage. So I am allowed to live legally in the United States and pay taxes and work and support my family. But it's a long process. But if you do it right, you go by the numbers, you follow the laws, and you don't look for any shortcuts. You get to the final to the end.
Came here with a student visa as a student on a basketball scholarship. So I was in the United States legally going to school on a basketball scholarship, and throughout that process, that's when I started going into the process of actually becoming a full resident and becoming an American citizen. It's a lengthy process, a very long process. You know, it takes time. We apply for my citizenship in 2008. Okay, so 2008 we fill up all the paperwork that they needed, because due to the fact that where a lot of people in the United States doing arranged marriage, fake marriage just to get the citizenship. So the government decided to make sure that the people who apply, who say that they married, they actually married. So they prolonged the process. Back in the day, from my understanding, it's like you could just marry somebody and apply for citizenship and you'll automatically get it. But that process has changed. You gotta prove that you are actually married to this person and you live with this person. So y'all gotta have same bank accounts, joint accounts. Bills gotta be joint. Y'all gotta live in the same place for a certain amount of time. Not just live in the same house for like 2 weeks and say that, okay, we married. No, y'all have to be living in that house for at least 2 years, pay the same bills, and be able to prove that you guys are actually married and your marriage is a legit marriage. And you guys are staying together, not just be like, hey, we just getting married just so he or she can have a green card. So we apply for it. And then a year later, we got like a temporary. It's like they put you on a probation. It's a green card.
Okay.
It's like a probationary period that you go 2 years with a green card. During those 2 years, they give you, before the green card is the work permit, so you're able to work off campus or work for 40 hours a week for 2 years. Then another 2 years, they give you a green card. It's still a probationary period. So after those 2 years, which 2 plus 2 make 4 years, that's when you can go and reapply to get the actual citizenship, And the whole process took approximately 4 years for me to get my citizenship. 4 years and pretty close, I say $5,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's okay. So you got here in 2002 with a student visa, and even though you had that, it still took you 4 years. Wow.
Yes, because you have to change the visa status.
Right.
You go from a student to, a citizen. So it's a long process, but very worthy.
Became illegally in a van. The process first was my oldest 2 sisters came with my uncle with other people's documentation, and they just crossed the bridge and they looked at the papers, looked at the kids. That was it. Nowadays it's really hard to cross like that, but that's how they do it. And the same thing with me. Then a couple of years later, they sent for my brother and myself and then my other cousin, and we came. That's how that went. But I don't remember anything. I was too little. For my family, my mother had to apply for her kids and herself because we were all underage at the time. And so she had to send in her application. Her process was, she filed under, what is it called? Domestic violence, yes, sorry. She filed under domestic violence. And so that's how she got our case on file. And she applied for all her kids herself, and she had to pay for that application to go in. She had a 50-50 chance to see whether they would accept it and believe it was credible and let it go through, or they would just send us back to Mexico because they had literally all of our information. Where we lived, how old we were, our name, where we came from, everything. And that's a big battle or big chance that you take when you're applying. Then after that, when and if they accept it, they'll send you an ID or let you know, hey, okay, go and get yourself a credential, some type of ID that tells you, that lets the police or someone know that you're allowed to be in the States. And every 6 months while you're in the United States, you have to reapply for that ID until your case goes through or until whatever they said. The way that she applied, since she didn't know English, she had to get, she went to Catholic Charities in Fort Worth because she didn't know how to do anything. So she went to Catholic Charities in Fort Worth and they helped her out. And 10 years later, we finally got the first residence cards that we received for mine and my brother's. Those were the first two. And then a couple weeks later, my mom's and my sister's came in.
Okay, and how long will that process take? Or what is the timeline like for that process?
The timeline is different for each process. Like, each case can take from a couple of weeks to a year, 2 years, a couple of months. It just depends, because it depends on the caseworker, and whoever takes your case can be really nice and like give you your citizenship within the next couple of days, or they could just be like, come back later, you're not ready, or they could just deny it.
Okay.
When we moved over here, I started in 8th grade. I was actually old enough to start in 7th grade, but in Britain, the school system's a little further ahead.
I came to Texas in 1995 originally just to come to school. I went to Laredo Community College to play baseball under a baseball scholarship. Then I transferred here in 1997. I was 19 years old when I first got here.
That was in 2002.
2002, wow.
October 2002. I was 20 years old.
I was 3 years old when I immigrated, or when my mother and father paid for me to come to the United States.
Did that 2 years ago.
2
That's
years
when
ago.
I finally went to the ceremony, yes.
I am a resident of the United States of America. I became a resident in 2012, and so I have to wait 5 years in order to become a U.S. citizen because of the process of my documentation. And so now I can legally apply to be a U.S. citizen. So I'm just in the process of waiting for me to actually apply for it, but it's expensive. It's about $700 plus any other expenses that you have to drive up to Irving and do any other things that they ask you to do.
I officially became U.S. citizen in January of 2012. Yeah, 2012. I came here on a scholarship to play basketball at Midland College, Midland Junior College in Midland, Texas. And then after a year, I transferred to Abilene Christian University.
Family was a big part of it. My grandmother was becoming more elderly, and they'd always wanted to eventually come back home to Stephenville and to Texas. And so it's just the right time. My sister had just graduated high school in Britain. I was at a crossroad where I was about to be in a spot where they were either going to have to stay over there and let me finish, or it was a good time for me to come over here and start assimilating into the American culture and the American school system.
Immigrants don't come here to do any bad things. They come here to better themselves. At least I do, and my family. All of us, we've worked hard. We've worked with the community. We've gotten our jobs. We've studied. We get our education. We try to do our things for our kids. We don't come here to take jobs. The jobs are there. We take them because they're available.
I wanted to be a major leaguer. And the best opportunity for me to be a major leaguer was to come to the United States, to come to college, play college baseball, and try to get noticed by scouts, get picked up, get drafted, maybe sign with a team and try to do it. But when I got here and I started going to school, I actually was pretty good at school, and so I got good grades, and so it just kind of made me reconsider and think, hey, I'm pretty good at baseball, but I'm also pretty good at school. So I thought that if baseball didn't work out, I needed to have something to fall back on, and then school got a little serious, and I got my degree. Then I started trying to look for employment as an educator because that's what I loved. And I'm here. No, not really. And I mean, it's not something that is really actively pursued.
No, not legally. Everybody knows how to come to the country illegally. You can figure that out by yourself, honestly. But legally, no, because there's not enough education and there's not that want to do anything like that, because it's a lot of money too. It's more money to do it legally than to do it illegally. Illegally, you pay once, cross the border, that's it. You get a job and pay it off. Legally, you have to go through a huge process, takes more time, and much more money.
No. The probably what they would think of is, if I marry an American, I can become a U.S. citizen. I don't know. I don't think they would have any idea.
No.
No? Okay.
They will not. It's a very. If you're not educated at it, it's kind of hard to do by yourself. Like when I first did, we had to go to consult with attorneys, with lawyers. But the paperwork is just intimidating because people don't want to make mistakes, because once you make mistakes and you get rejected, then you got to restart the whole process.
I'm a principal at Gilbert Intermediate School.
Awesome. And I'm assuming you like that job?
I love it. I love it. There's no other place I would rather be.
Oh yeah, what I do? Of course, I used to play basketball, and 10 months ago, I got hired by the Odessa College to become the training coordinator for the Law Enforcement Academy. So I used to work for the Odessa Police Department as a patrolman for 2.5 years, and as a detective corporal for 2.5 years. So I used to investigate sexual assaults, assault, family violence, and all that stuff that people don't want to deal with. By the past, this is my baby girl. Since you're already here, just sit down here. So the past 10 months, I've been hired as the training coordinator for the Law Enforcement Academy, and I'm responsible for training new officers and get them ready, certified, to serve as a police officer in the state of Texas.
If you were born inside or outside the UK on January 1st, 1983 or later, and your mother was a British citizen, at the time of your birth, you are a British citizen by descent and can apply for a British passport.
So you can. Yeah. That is crazy. I did not know
I'm
that.
so excited.
Lots of...
Cool.
Can I do it?
Yeah, we can do it. Well, I gotta because my passport expired, so I gotta redo it.
Yay.
I'm a proud American citizen.
Yes.
And I love it, because America is the best country in the world. Yeah.
He's a United States citizen. My son and my daughter are United States citizens, and so it's a small thing. This is a small thing, but when we travel, I usually have to take a different line through customs and immigration than them, or I did, because I didn't have my U.S. citizenship. I didn't have a U.S. passport. Now that I'm a U.S. citizen, I have my United States passport, and I can go to that same line with them, which is pretty significant.
Well, family's important. I think that's probably what guides everybody a lot in their decisions, and with immigration too, to make something better for your family. I would think I'd probably stay with my family if I had to revoke my British citizenship to stay with my family. I think that's what I would do. But again, also God's the other thing. If for some reason God wanted me to stay a British citizen, then I would too. So, be several things, but God and family would drive that decision.
It's so beautiful to see someone get their citizenship and accomplish a dream so small to other people because they have it. They don't cherish something like an American doesn't cherish their citizenship because they have everything here. Us as immigrants, we have to fight for it. We have to risk our life every day to feed our kids, to live a good life, and hope there's a better tomorrow. And people don't see that. They're like, oh, it's just an ID, it's just a driver's license, it's just a certificate. No, to us it's the holy grail. It pretty much is, because without that,